goodness. Welcome, everybody, to another amazing week of Case Files with Kat
and Ashley.
Hey, we actually got our name right.
Yeah.
5 years. We totally our anniversary just came and went.
I think our anniversary was while I was out of town.
And then it was just, we're like, hey, we had an anniversary. And then yeah, we've been married long enough. Yeah. We don't need to celebrate it anymore.
One day we'll just do a giant celebration.
Hey, that's awesome. I love it. So how's your week been?
Good. My doggy's finally out of her cast. Leg is healed.
And no more of the sores or whatever.
No more sores. No more cast. No more splint. Nothing like that. Her x-rays came back and she can fully run and everything now. So.
Oh, sweet
That's
baby.
about the most positive thing I got going.
And
I can breathe.
You can breathe.
I could breathe last time, but I was coughing.
You were coughing.
I don't know.
So we'll see. The episode just started.
I've been fine all day. I was fine all day last time. It was just...
You still have beer in there, too. While I start talking, you can go get some. Go help yourself.
I gotta go grocery shopping.
Okay. All right. I
don't know. Maybe drinking would make grocery shopping more fun.
I mean...
They do play my jams now. You know, I'm at that age.
the music. Is that what's happening? Is that the music? I love it. Okay, so my week, thank you for asking.
Yes, how was your week?
She's getting up to go get beer. Yeah, my week, it felt like the fastest week of all time. I know that we went, when we ended last week, we had I sort of teased a couple of stories. One of them about a missing teen that has been, unfortunately, his remains have been found, but we still don't know a whole lot. So we are going to hold off on reporting on that. And then the execution for the cousin of a friend of ours is imminent this week. So that and that hasn't happened yet. So he wanted to wait till after that happened to come on. So I'm not sure if he's really gonna want to do it. I might just do the story anyway. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah,
kind of crazy. I don't even know when the last time Texas executed somebody.
I don't either. I felt like it's been a long time.
I feel like it's been a long time, but watch it have just been last week.
I mean, they always joke that we have the express lane.
Well, he's been on death row a long time.
No.
Yeah. Anyway, so we're still, those are just sort of like stories that are happening right now. What? Did they do it yesterday?
Execution was February 13th, 2025.
Oh.
Richard Lee Tabler.
Oh, no. Okay. Well, that's not the guy. Anyway, so we'll bring those stories to you. But yeah, this last week has literally been like, wasn't she just here? What? Wasn't actually, I don't know that I've ever had a week where I felt like, okay, wow, this is the literally the fastest week I've ever had.
Everyone's got so much going on.
I know. I had to work yesterday. I had to go present to 7th graders.
Ooh, that's rough. I've presented to high schoolers and that was good enough for me. I don't want to do.
Let me tell you.
Sorry.
No, that's okay. Jason was laughing at me so hard because I was like, how do I present? Because I think I'm kind of cool. I'm just going to say, I think I'm pretty cool.
I think you're cool too.
So Jason goes, did you take the chair and turn it around backwards and sit there?
I don't know. When I speak to high schoolers, they make me feel so old.
So old.
And I'm like, I'm not that much older than you people.
These little 12, 13-year-olds. I was just like,
But did they listen to you? Because the high schoolers don't listen to me.
Oh, their parents were in the room. This was like National Charity League. So for those of you who have 7th graders, they go into the National Charity League. So it's like the moms and the daughters do philanthropic stuff together. Like it's like the whole thing. Really cool. Yeah. So I'm sure I'll have Olivia in it. I don't know how much it costs. Well, it might be cost prohibitive. I have no idea. But I have a lot of friends whose kids are in there, and so I I knew a couple of the moms in the room, and I'm like, do I say the word sex? Like, how do I? Let me just stick to the domestic violence part. Then I'm like, oh, did they even know what that is?
But they should know what it is. That's the thing.
That's the thing. But I was like, oh, am I gonna get, like,
I can't believe they didn't tell you like what you couldn't say. Because when I spoke to like, they were like a younger touring golf team or whatever. They were kids, but they would have speakers come in and teach them like etiquettes of what not to do, like when you're traveling, like on social media. Don't post you were riding alone with the coach, even if it was a joke, because that would get, what I mean, like
wow.
or like just things that you don't think about when that you think are innocent or that may truly be innocent, but other people won't take it that way. And so, but they gave me a saying like these, don't
not
say this, or be careful what you say because there's kids. And that's why I'm surprised they didn't
They
with
did
the topic
not.
that you have.
I know. And so I mean, because what they did is they donated books, and I like realized I was in this room with children, right? So I kept my overview of the agency super, 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 super short and went straight into what their books mean. So like their books will fill up the library in our shelter and give books to the kiddos that are a part of our hotel program. If they're not, if we can't get them into shelter, we have the hotel program. So the library, though, does get depleted because if a kiddo wants a book, we're not going to tell them they can't have it. They can take that book.
Yeah.
That's their book. If they want that book, they can have that book. They don't have to return it. So the supply dwindles. And so they probably collected like $500 worth of kid books.
Wow.
Yeah, it was really awesome. And I was like, that's going to fill that side of the room up. It's awesome. And it, there were also activity books for them. It's so great. So I kind of just focused on that. Yeah. But then they're like, can you tell us more about the length of stay? And I'm like, oh, I don't know if you want to talk about all of that. Let's do a supply drive next, Yeah. Anyway, bleh. All right, here we are. We're talking too much. Okay. So, I'm just going to get going. Okay. All right, we're going to get going. Because who knows how long we'll be here if we keep talking. Just shooting the shit. Okay. So tonight, I'm going to tell a story about some bad actors. And when I say bad actors, they are quite literally actors. Oh. When good actors go bad.
Oh, my.
I know. That's why the title of the episode is Bad Actors. This is about the case of Dan Wozniak and Rachel Buffett. Okay. Name sound familiar?
Yes.
Do they?
I mean, I don't know
the whole story. Yeah. I'm like, did you do the story and I forgot? No, okay. No. You're like, yes. The way she looked at me, all she was like,
that was the episode. Where were you? No, I'm just kidding. No, I've heard the names.
Okay. So I remember hearing about it, but like just that because it involved actors, and I thought to myself, oh, they must have not been very good actors, right? Because could you imagine like Meryl Streep committing a crime?
Well, I mean, to be fair, there's no shortage of celebrities out there committing crimes.
But imagine Meryl Streep, like one of the best actors of all time. Like, would you know? Would you know if she was lying? Like, I feel like she could probably pass a polygraph.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
No matter what.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, she just has to become the actor. I don't know. Like, I just obviously not very good. And I don't have any audio. There is audio. There's plenty of audio. I don't have it to play for you tonight, but there is a phone call that happens, and I'm listening to it, as an actor in my former life, going like, oh, I can totally see why the police were like, this is just improv. They're in an improv. So what happened? You could just feel that they were feeding off of each other, and that it wasn't real. Like they didn't have to necessarily get their story straight. I think they just knew each other and their styles so well that they were, I don't know. It just felt like they were not the best of actors. Got it. Although they were working, but they weren't rich or anything. Okay, so let me set the scene for you. So This whole story takes place in the city of Costa Mesa, which is in Orange County, California. And this town is, I guess it's a city, has a population of 111,000 people. It's located about 37 miles, just to give you some geographical perspective. Because to me, I was like, Costa Mesa. I used to live in California, but I was like, Costa Mesa. And they're actors trying to be famous. Like they're like, that seemed like it's not LA. Yeah. Right. It's kind of what I was thinking. It's 37 miles southeast of LA, 87 miles northwest of San Diego, and 425 miles southeast of San Francisco. To me, I was like, that doesn't make sense why you would be trying to become an actor in that city. Because it was already like, it's a pretty wealthy place to live. It's only 16 square miles.
Oh,
that's it. It's just
very tiny.
It's tiny. And it's about a mile, away from the ocean. So I
feel like everyone would know everyone, even though it's not like a big population. I mean, it's a big population.
So like Mark Wahlberg, Gwyneth Paltrow, Tony Hawk, Schwarzenegger, Seth MacFarlane, like they live there.
Okay.
Right. So that makes sense. You've already made it. You live outside of LA. You don't have to live right in LA.
Yeah.
But like if you're trying to break into acting, kind of seems like strange. Anyway. All right. So let me introduce our lead actors.
Okay.
Our lead actors. All right. So the first that we have, this is a little like Melrose Placey. Okay. It was a group of people that were all living in this apartment complex. I remember my life in LA being just like this. You have all the young people and you kind of find who are the ones like you, right? Some of them are the heavy partiers, and if that's your scene, great. If you're, if you're a little bit more like, I'm going to school, so I can't necessarily do all of that. I'm working, I'm going to school. So you're a little bit more serious and you don't have, so there's those people. So this little group, one of the interviews, she said, one of the neighbors was like, when we met Dan and Rachel, they were mature for their age. They were the wine drinkers, not the hard liquor drinkers. So they felt like they were already like mature because they were they were engaged. They were really just excited about starting their life together. And so the other complex, the other apartment livers were all like, okay, that's who they want to hang out with. So there was this little group of friends and they hung out, and it started to become like daily that they would hang out. Like that's who they're your neighbors. I remember that life. That was my mid-20s. So you have Dan Wozniak. He was a community theater actor. Rachel Buffett, who was she was also an actor. She also did community theater, but she would also work like as Cinderella at Disneyland. Oh, so she was like a Disney princess, pretty blonde, that whole thing. And then there's Sam Herr, and he was a military veteran. He served in Afghanistan. And then there was Julie Kibayushi. And so she was a design student, and she was Sam's tutor because he was really trying to get through school.
These did all live together. They were just a group of friends that hung out, right?
They were just a group of friends that hung out. So this is like the four main people of the story. There's more people that will come in, but those are like the four main people. So Daniel Patrick Wozniak, Dan, he was born March 23rd, 1984. Okay. He grew up in Long Beach, California. He was like super popular. He was just, he was charming. He was really tall. But he was very charming, funny, charismatic. Obviously he was an actor, right? Yeah. He wasn't making a whole lot of money as an actor, but he was working as an actor. So he was still like the lead of shows. He could sing. He was a great actor. He was pretty good looking, like big dude, beard, I mean, there was a place for him for sure. And he worked a lot of side gigs to make money. He met Rachel Buffett while they were on a show together. That's how they met on stage. And they got engaged in 2010.
Okay.
Okay, so Rachel was born July 20th, 1987. She grew up in a pretty Christian, conservative house. And so going out to the crazy world of theater, you know, like that was a whole thing. She was a Disney princess. That was one of her things, but she was very much a part of the community theater scene as well. So she and Dan met while they were doing a production of Nine, which is a musical. They were engaged, planning the wedding. But behind the scenes, for those of you who have gotten married, holy crap, the finances to pull off a wedding, to, you know, just go to the courthouse. Don't go broke. You know, if you really want to get married, don't do that to yourself. It caused a lot of friction. They were always, one of the neighbors said they were always struggling for money. And she said, you know, you felt kind of sorry for them because they were so excited to get their life started together.
Yeah.
But they wanted to have this wedding. And I'm like, oh man, if they just went to the courthouse, that would have been a relief.
Yeah.
They could still have gotten married, but I think they just wanted something bigger.
Yeah.
You got to live within your means, I guess. So Sam Herr, Herr, and I listened to other people say it, so I'm going to go by the Dateline pronunciation, and it was Herr. He was born May 29th, 1983. He grew up in California. Like I said, he served in Afghanistan, and he actually struggled with PTSD. Not unusual, obviously. But he was really focused to get his life back on track. So he was in school. He hung out with everybody, and he was still a young person.
Yeah.
But he was very good about getting his schoolwork done. He attended Orange Coast College, and that's where he met Dan.
Okay.
And according to records, because of his military service, because of his service during wartime, like his active military, not just like not going away, like he served overseas and was in the Afghanistan. He had a good amount of money in his bank account, and it said somewhere between $60,000 and $65,000 in his bank account that he had. That was all of his pay. That was his. What is that called? Like active duty pay or something. I forget what the term is. So, but that was from him serving in the military and actually fighting overseas. And then there's Julie. So Julie was born March 8th, 1987. She was a fashion design student. And she became friends with Sam, and he met her because he was trying to get a tutor to help him. And she was fun, and they were friends, and she would, you know, she took her role as a tutor very seriously. His grades were reflective of her tutoring.
Oh, okay.
So it wasn't, let me just help you when you're on your own, kid. You know, like she was a great tutor, and how are you doing? And, you know, she didn't let him slack. She's like, she was paying attention to how he was doing. And so, I mean, that's what he was giving her money for.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, but she took it very, very seriously. She was very talented and just a good friend all around. So Sam Herr, who was 26, he became friends with this group, and he was really right away known as being very responsible. Julie's mom said, you know, she described him as like a big bear. He wasn't that much older, but it was just so funny, like, and he didn't even seem that big. I don't know. Maybe he got bigger. Like the pictures of him, I'm like,
well, did she mean like cuddly, like someone you could just
maybe
cuddle?
just
not that
kind
they
of
were,
like,
but just like
he was just a warm and fuzzy kind of guy. Anyway, so he wasn't that much older than her, but she saw him as sort of like they were really good friends. She saw him very much like a brother, like an older brother, and I think that was a mutual feeling. Like they were pretty tight. He was the protective big brother. Like I said, she called him the big teddy bear, and he was just always nice to everybody. To those who knew them really well, they would have all said they had like a pseudo brother-sister relationship. And that's why, it was one reason why on the night of May 21st, 2010, not too long ago, doesn't that seem like forever ago? But it's
it really does.
But like really wasn't that long ago. Julie, cut a night that she was out with her brother short to go check in on Sam. Like she had dinner with her family, and she had told her mom, like, okay, I'm leaving. I'm going to go see Sam. He asked me to come over to help him. And, she didn't tell her mom like what the text messages were saying, but she had gotten a series of text messages from Sam. And they were pretty unusual. It started with, can you come over? And this is these are the actual text messages. Okay. Can you come over tonight at midnight alone? Going out for a bit. Very upset. Need to talk. Please. No sex. I need to talk to someone.
Well, that's so weird.
So obviously.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Like, I mean, even if you weren't, I assume it was someone else, but wouldn't you know that they're not, like, why would you even throw in the no sex part? Like, that's so weird.
So she responds, LOL, ew. Ouch. Sam, we're like bro and sis, no sex. So he said, I'm hurting because of some bad fam crap and I don't want to be alone. Please, no sex. I'm begging you as a brother. So she says, yeah, like YA. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine, Sam. I'm here for you, like family. So she's just sort of putting that fine point on that whole conversation, right? Like,
it's so weird that they repeated it again, though. Like,
right? Like, ooh, right? Good eye. So Julie was still wearing the tiara that her brother had given her earlier that night. It was his way of asking her to be in his wedding.
Oh my God, I already know I'm going to hate your story.
But what started as a really joyous moment quickly turned into something far more sinister. I'm so sorry.
Honestly, I would be like, I don't know. I would have called, like, I don't know. I feel like the messages are so bizarre. So bizarre. That'd be like if I texted you I'm quitting drinking or something. Like, I don't know. It's just so weird to me.
Maybe we should all have like those code words, Like
if
hey.
I tell you I'm going to the gym or something like that,
Wait,
damn sure
what's happening?
Me.
Who's kidnapped you? Let me put a tracker on your phone.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I get that she was trying to be there for him. I'm not blaming her. I'm just saying it's so... Like, the messages would make me feel so weird that they kept repeating.
I'd be like, I'm bringing my friends, like I'm bringing my brother. Like, I'm not coming. What? No,
yeah.
Yes, you're right. Not to blame her, but it's like,
if the messages were so unlike any of the messages before, it would throw me off. Like, I get like he in your mind, he's saying he's upset. So maybe he's been drinking or something.
Yeah, 100%. And she knows that he's had a rough time of it.
Yeah.
A rough time of it.
It would just be so, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's so weird.
It's weird. Okay.
For someone to message that way.
So later that night, she cut the night with her brother short, right? So later that night, she goes over to Sam's apartment. No, I'm sorry.
I was trying to procrastinate to this part, but go on.
She goes over to Sam's apartment, and when morning came, her mother, June, woke up to find that her daughter had never come home. And panic set in, and she immediately called the police. Meanwhile, Sam's dad, Steve, was also growing concerned because his son's phone kept going straight to voicemail, which was not like Sam, especially on a Saturday, so it just didn't feel right. Because, why are you going to miss calls with your friends? You know what I mean? It's a Saturday. It's a weekend. You're not going to, why is your phone off? So he was immediately suspicious and worried. And so he followed his gut, and Steve went to Sam's apartment, and he knocked. There was no answer, but he had a key, or at least he had a spare key, or he knew where the spare key was. So he got no answer, knock, 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 got no answer. And he let himself inside, and he came across, oh my gosh, if y'all could see,
my
Ashley.
cats are not here, and I'm very upset. One's in the kitchen. I don't know where the other one is.
Kitty.
It's okay. Just keep going.
Okay, I'm so sorry. So he made a discovery that would haunt him forever. Sam, unfortunately, was nowhere to be found, but Julie was there, and she was lying on the bed, dead. He said, "I freaked out," he later recalled. Julie had been shot twice in the back of the head. Her jeans were pulled down around her knees and were ripped. And on the back of her sweatshirt, someone had scrawled 2 chilling messages: "All yours," and "fuck you." In shock, Steve grabbed his phone and dialed 911. And the police showed up, and I can't even imagine. So as the investigation started, obviously this girl is dead in Sam's apartment. Right? So who's the number one suspect? Sam. And they learned some things about Sam, and his dad was not hiding from those things. His friends all knew that this was something in his past. It wasn't a secret, but when he was 18, he had been accused of murder. And he was acquitted. He was accused of luring a man to a parking lot where the victim was ambushed and killed by more than a dozen others in what police believe was a gang-related attack. Several other men were convicted of that crime and were sentenced to life in prison. Sam was found not guilty.
Was this when he was in the military?
When he was 18. And after the trial, this is when he joined the army.
Okay.
And he joined the army at this point to turn his life around. So it doesn't look good.
Yeah.
For Sam. So the police are like, oh, we need to find this dude. This dude is 100% the guilty party. And his dad is like, oh, we need to find Sam because he is 100% not the guilty party. Like,
yeah, good for the dad for like.
He was like, I need to find Sam to bring this. This is not him. This is not him. And then there were those text messages, right, on Julie's phone, and that just made the police even more confident that it was Sam.
Yeah.
Because they didn't know him.
Yeah.
They weren't going, does this seem like the normal text message? Like they weren't doing that yet. So finding Sam wasn't easy. His car was missing. His phone was off. That is until they got their first break. Someone had used Sam's bank card at a local ATM and then again at a pizza place to order a pizza. Why do people do that? Why is it the first thing that fucking people do? Really? You just order a pizza.
You would think you would withdraw the money and then pay cash for the pizza, like less paper trail. But I mean, I'm not a murderer, so I don't. But
even withdrawing the money, you have. Yeah,
but at least you could like hide your identity and stuff more, I guess.
Put the hat on.
But like, if you order the pizza, you're giving your address. If you use the card, they're probably you're not gonna wear like a weird disguise into the pizza place. I don't know. I just feel like.
I know.
I'm glad they're dumb though. I'm glad because then they get caught. But.
Well, here's the thing. So surveillance footage revealed something unexpected. The man withdrawing the money at the ATM wasn't Sam.
Shocking.
So they were like, what? Hold on. Wait a minute. What's this? Who was this person? It was a kid.
Like an actual kid?
It was a kid. It was a 17-year-old. So when a worker at the pizza shop recognized the guy in the footage and gave the police an address. Because they were like, oh, yeah, that guy. He ordered pizza. So when officers surrounded the Long Beach home, so this is a little bit further south, farther south from LA, right? They were convinced they finally found where Sam was hiding. And but inside, they found Wesley Freilich, a teenager who had been caught using Sam's card. What? This is bizarre, right?
Like he would have had to have the PIN number, right? For the ATM.
Yep. And he had, yeah.
Okay.
So Wesley was not dumb. He was like, oh, yeah, someone gave me this card to use. And I believed him that I could use it. Who was the person? It was a guy named Dan Wozniak. Bum, bum, bum. So Wozniak was, he was in the local theater scene. So he wasn't like an unknown. He was a local theater actor. And he once mentored Wesley in community theater. So that's how he even knew Dan from the theater. And Wesley explained that Dan told him he worked for a bail bondsman and needed someone to withdraw cash because the card's owner had skipped out on the bail. Wesley says, he showed me paperwork. It looked legit. It looked like federal police paperwork. So I trusted him. What do you mean? How do you know what federal paperwork looks like?
Well, not just that, but like the Bills bombman had the guy's ATM. Why couldn't he go get it?
I mean, he's 17.
I know.
Right. But now the police are going, okay, hold up. Why did Dan have Sam's bank card?
Yeah. That's so fucked up to bring this poor kid into it that had nothing to do with the crime. I assume he had nothing to do.
Oh, he had nothing to do with the crime.
But
He was
so
just
messed up to like bring him into it.
But it's also dumb. It's dumb. It's a
because you had to know he was going to rat on you like the second he got caught.
And it's a loose end.
Yeah.
What was this kid gonna do? Just use this card and he's missing. Do you not think? Have you never watched a true crime show? This is what, if someone is missing and they're looking for somebody, they're gonna pay attention how the credit card is being used and how the bank account is being used.
Yeah.
You killed somebody for their bank, for the amount of money they had in their bank account, but you can't access that money because now you're fucked. Now, you got to get him.
It to a kid.
You got to get him to take out the money. I'm teaching people how to do this. Basically, it's what I'm doing. Don't listen to me. Don't listen to me. Okay. So Wozniak, Dan, and his fiancée, Rachel, also an actress, they all lived in the same apartment complex, right? So Rachel said that she and Dan had seen him on Friday. This is what she and Dan both said. And this is to me this is the one piece to me that says everything about her. Okay. So it is I'm going to say it, and I may never say it again for the rest of the episode, but this is going to make you go, but wait a minute, didn't she say this? And they never really mention this. Again, she said that she and Dan saw Sam on Friday walking with a mysterious man in a black hat. That's a potential lead. That's a person that they need to look for. Who is this person? But police weren't necessarily buying it. So they brought Dan in for questioning and they arrested him at his fucking bachelor party because the wedding, it was like 2 days away. So he gets arrested at his bachelor party. And at first he's like, look, Sam, I was with Sam. Sam said he had been working on this insurance scheme. And according to him, Sam had killed Julie in a drug-fueled haze and went on the run. And then he threatened Dan and Rachel, forcing them to help him cover his tracks. He's like, you rat me out, I'm going to fucking kill you. And better yet, I'm going to start with your wife. That's what Dan told the police. That's in
Wouldn't
quotes.
everyone else in this apartment complex tell the police they have been struggling for money, and now 2 days from now, they have all this money for a wedding?
They still didn't have a lot of money. They
Okay.
did not take
I thought
out.
they would I thought
They did not empty out that bank account.
Oh, okay.
They got $400 on the first day.
Oh, what a wedding.
So that story obviously was not holding. I mean, yeah, what a wedding. Woo! Yeah. I'm going to get to the $400.
Okay.
So after police took his DNA, Dan admitted that he had been inside of Sam's apartment.
Okay.
Dan had been inside of Sam's apartment. And he had seen Julie's dead body because he's like, how was your DNA? You know, because he had to explain all this. But he still insisted that he had no idea where Sam was. Then, after a phone call with Rachel, he finally broke. Meanwhile, Rachel, and this is where like I don't have the audio because it's, you know, it's not super great, but the audio is like him talking about the crime, and she's like asking about weird details rather than responding to the fact that he mutilated people. You know what I mean? Like, and then I shot her twice in the back of the head. And her response to that is, and nobody heard the gunshot? I'm pretty sure that is not the reaction I would have.
Yeah.
She so calmly said it. And he was like, yeah, nobody. Wow, that's crazy. I know, I got lucky. Like, that's the conversation. Just like that.
Wow.
It's not hysterical. What the fuck do you mean? Like,
yeah.
It was not that. I mean, I can't even imagine. I think I would just be screaming inconsolably. Like, you killed somebody? Like, what the? No, I'm done with you. Like, I don't want to. And she was like, he did it because he wanted to be married to me. Okay, so this is all
how romantic.
This is all because he wanted money for the wedding. This is why I'm trying to say, elope. Just go to the courthouse. If you're not
willing to kill for your, why are you looking?
Deep thoughts with Ashley. Put that as a question
just
of the
joking.
week.
Allegedly, if there are police listening, I'm just kidding. I wouldn't kill for anyone except for maybe my dogs.
I can just hear Anderson going, emotional damage. All right. Okay. So like I said, Sam had over $60,000+ in his savings account. And so the plan was simple: kill him, frame him for Julie's murder, wipe out the bank account because he's on the run, and they would be able to pay for the wedding.
Okay.
But here's what happened. So Dan finally comes clean, and he actually calls, and there's a phone call where he calls Rachel and he says, I'm going to do something right now, and I just want you to know that you'll never see me again. And she was like, no. He's like, I'm gonna do it. What are you gonna say? I think you know what I'm gonna say. What, did you have something to do with their deaths? Like, it just felt like really bad acting all the way around. I think I did better than her just now. But anyway, so here's what happened. So Dan decides, I'm just going to come clean. And he says that he lured Sam to an empty theater at Los Alamitos Joint Forces Training Base, where he had once performed. There wasn't a production going on then. He had asked Sam for help moving something from the attic. And so when Sam bent down, he was, very muscular dude. When Sam bent down, that's when Dan shot him in the head, but he didn't die. He kept on fighting for his life. He was begging for help, and then he fired the gun again and shot him and killed him with that second shot. But his night wasn't over, and this gets so messed up. So those text messages that happened to Julie happened after Sam died, because that's when Dan had his phone and he went and he performed in the local production of 9.
He performed that night?
That night, he was the lead and he performed that night. And backstage, in between scenes, he was texting Julie.
A psychopath.
Pretending to be Sam, luring her to his apartment. So then Julie shows up later that night, and what he says happened, there's question, would Julie have gone into the apartment had it been Dan who answered the door and not Sam? And that's the question. He said that he greeted her at the door, acting like a concerned friend. He walked her inside where she sat on Sam's bed, reading one of the messages on her phone, and then he shot her twice in the head. He staged the scene to make it look like it was a sexual assault, hoping to convince the police that it was Sam that had done it, and then making it look like he had then just vanished. He needed to make it look like Sam was on the run for any of this to work, which is why he gave that credit card to that 17-year-old kid, which is such a dumb move.
Yeah.
And then the man staged it by ripping her clothes, taking her clothes off. He didn't, whether or not, I don't even know, I don't think that he assaulted her, but he still demoralized her.
Yeah.
That still had to be the scene for people to find.
Yeah.
And then to write all yours F you on her sweatshirt. Like, that's insanity.
Yeah.
That is not a well person.
The fact that he murders someone and then went on to perform the lead in a play or whatever, and then murder another person and just
continue on.
Then go and have a bachelor party and just.
And then he went on to go have a fucking bachelor. The whole thing, right?
Yeah.
So the detective says, it was shocking. These two were his so-called friends. It's horrific. It's sad. And when you hear Dan go like, yeah, and then Sam told me that he killed Julie, and I was like, dude, she's like a friend.
Who talks like that?
When the cops asked Rachel, this is when I was like flipping the table, right? When the cops asked Rachel, did you have any knowledge of what Dan was going to do? Hell's no.
My God.
With the S. Hell's no. Please, sister. I don't know what that was. Is that really what? I don't care how young you are. No. Hell's no.
Also, furthermore, I'm pretty sure she probably did.
I'm pretty sure she probably did too. And one of the things that the detective says is, I don't think Julie would have walked into that apartment if she didn't see Sam and she only saw Dan. I don't think she would have come into that apartment.
I would feel like Rachel would have had to be there or answer the door
at midnight.
Yeah.
Where's Sam? Why are you answering the door? I feel like Rachel would have had to been there because they were friends.
Yeah.
They were friends, but it would have been strange to show up
and
to a man who's about to get married.
Yeah.
Who's opening? No.
Yeah.
Where's your wife? Like, where's she? Like, where's my friend?
Yeah.
The one that we're supposed to go to dance classes together. Where's my friend? She's not here.
Yeah.
Anyway, so see, I have all these theories. Okay, so the next day, because it's not done yet.
Why would it be?
I had a burp. I'm sorry. So the next day, he returned to the theater where Sam was. And he dismembered his friend. He dismembered him, y'all. It just gets worse.
Nobody saw the dead body after the production?
It was at the empty theater. Mm-hmm. He took the head, the hands, the arms. He scattered parts of Sam's remains all around town, leaving the torso hiding in the attic. I mean, like the anger that like wells up in me, like how he treated his friend is like this good person. It like, you know, someone who fought for our country, somebody who's just trying to get his life back on track.
Yeah.
Who seems like a really good friend and
who probably would have given him the money.
Who probably would have
just based on the way he sounds.
Right. So, and the worst part is that when Steve, his dad, found out that he had died, Steve said, at least he's not dismembered.
Why would he say that though?
Because he was like, well, he was shot, but at least I have a body
to bury. Okay.
A body. You can hide things. You can have whatever. Like, where was he shot? Is it, you know, can we fix that? No, this is body parts all over town.
Yeah.
How do you fix that? I don't even know. Like, that's awful.
Yeah. I get what you're saying now.
The dismemberment of a corpse is a whole new level. You just went from being a serial killer. I don't know. How many more people would you have killed? That comes up to now you're dismembering people. Yeah. Holy shit. That by yourself. Maybe.
I don't believe he did everything by himself. There's just no way.
Yeah. So just like I said, just before his wedding, so on May 26th, at his bachelor party, he was arrested and he was charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder. And initially he played dumb. He just played dumb. And then he eventually confessed. He was laughing at times. They're like, why did you do it? And he said, for money and for insanity. And then he started, and he was like, money and insanity. And they were like, he said money and insanity. Like the police officer repeated it to him, money and insanity. He was like, yeah. Like, right? Like, I am a crazy person. See? Yeah. Right? Yeah. Like, oh, come on, dude. Are you going to try to do the insanity defense now? Fuck. Come on. So here's the thing. Before the night that this happened, on the night that Sam died, this is when, right, you know, they're trying to wrap up their investigation. And then a phone call comes into the police department, and it's from this jazz musician. His name was Chris Williams. So Chris Williams calls, and he was like, so, I got a story.
This is the night the murder happened.
So the night the murder happened, this story happens on the night that the murder happened. After they're wrapping up with everything, they're trying to, you know, it's just Dan, Rachel's kind of on the periphery. They think she's lying, but they don't really have a whole lot on her, right? Like, but they're trying to wrap everything up. So Chris Williams calls and he says, "Hey, so here's the thing. I was over at Dan and Rachel's house on the night of May 10th, and I was there for 3 hours. And I show up, and Dan and Rachel are there, and Dan was with a friend who I didn't know, but who I later found out was Sam. And they told me that they were going out to get the money that they owed Chris. Now, Chris, he's a jazz musician, so he didn't have like medical insurance or anything like that, but he was going through a lot of his own really serious medical issues. Yeah. So his friends came together and raised a bunch of money for him to pay for all of the medical bills, you know, that he was dealing with. Yeah. But he was friends with Dan and friends with Rachel, and he hated to see them struggle. And so he was like, "Look, I have $2,200. It's not mine to give you. This is coming from some," and this is 100% false, but he wanted to make sure that he would see the money again. Yeah. So he told Dan, "This isn't mine to give you, and it's coming from not very good people, so you're going to want to pay it back." kind of like your legs will get broken kind of shit.
Yeah.
Which was not true.
Yeah.
But he told Dan this as I want to make sure I get my money back.
Yeah.
Kind of warning. So Dan takes that loan. Rachel says she doesn't know about it until much too late. And Dan says, okay, I'll have it to you by Friday, May 10th. So Chris shows up at Dan and Rachel's apartment.
Okay.
Dan and Sam leave.
Okay.
And he thinks that they're just going to go get the money. He's gone for hours. Chris says, I thought it was going to be 10 minutes. They're gone for hours. And when he comes back, it's just Dan. And he's like a crazy man. He looks like he's sweaty. He's breathing heavy.
This is before he goes on to be in the play?
This is after, yes. So before the play, after the murder.
Okay.
And he's like breathing like, and he's like, he throws down $400 in front of Chris. And Chris is like, dude, it's okay. Is this every penny you have to your name right now? Like, chill out, you know?
Yeah.
He was like, if this is all you've got, you know, so he gives back $20 so that they can eat. But he's like, I'm getting the fuck out of here. He was like, I don't know what's happening. Rachel's pissed off. Dan's breathing and hyperventilating, panic attack, looking like he's like, dude, chill out. Here's 20. Y'all need to eat. And, you know, he left.
Yeah.
Well, Rachel calls him back and says, oh, you dropped $20. He's like, I did not drop $20. I left it for you so that you guys could get dinner. She goes, why don't you come back and get your $20? You should come back to our apartment to get the $20. He's like, nope.
Good for him. Smart.
Nope.
Smart.
He was like, I don't know what was happening in that house, but I do not want to be a part of it. He was like, get me out of here. And he's like, no. And the investigators were like, they were going to kill you. And he said, I 100% believe that I would have died that night had I gone back, because he was the loose end. He saw Dan with Sam. And then all of a sudden, Sam wasn't there anymore.
Yeah.
So Sam was the last person to be with Sam was Dan, and Chris knew it, and they couldn't let that be out there. And I think he says, I think Rachel was like, he saw you with Sam, and they wanted to end that. So that call changed the way that the police felt about Rachel 100%. Like, you're not lying. You're not telling the truth.
Yeah.
The story has changed. And she's this cute little blonde girl that was just like, no, I don't know anything that's happening. I don't know. So then she finally was like, yeah, we got our eviction notice from the apartment complex. They're struggling on all fronts that are financial, like rent and utilities, and just they're just having a struggle. They're struggling. They're about to get married in 2 days. They've just gotten evicted. They know one person with any kind of money, and they've decided to kill him. So Dan eventually fesses up to everything and says, laughed at times during this, and it's like, I decapitated him. Ha 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 ha. So then he tells police where to find Sam's remains in El Dorado Park, and tells them where he can find that. So in 2015, the trial for Dan Wozniak started.
5 years.
So 2015, 2016, the defense was that Rachel manipulated him.
Of course it was.
Which the prosecutors dismissed. Can you even imagine? And the phone call is like, I hate you. I know that you did this to spend your life with me, and I hate you for messing it up. You messed it up. So I don't doubt that there was some push. I don't doubt that there was some push.
Yeah, but she's not solely to blame.
No, he did it.
Yeah.
But she's
I don't think she would have had to like manipulate him too hard. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right. They were struggling.
He seemed pretty
They were
crazy.
desperate and yeah. Money and insanity. Gosh, I should just play that. It took the jury only an hour to convict him. That's pretty fucking fast.
Yeah.
He was sentenced to death on September of 2016, and he remains on death row at San Quentin. He has made a few appearances on TV. I forget which one. I think it was Lockdown, where he actually professes his innocence.
Nice.
After he confessed. I don't think you can do that, dude.
Please tell me Rachel got convicted of something.
So what about Rachel? Let's talk about Rachel.
I feel like I'm about to be real mad.
She insisted she had no idea what her fiance was going to do. Her statements that the police were just like, we don't fucking believe you. We just don't believe you, right?
Yeah.
So for one, Buffett had told them that she saw Sam. This was joint statements, right? That she had seen Sam that night with a man that was in all black or dressed in dark colors, and then Dan was like, okay, that was a lie. So he fessed up in the interrogation room. Yeah, there was no man. There was no man. That was a lie. 100% lie. And so I'm sure Rachel was like, that's been my story. She was sticking to that story until he was like, that's not true. Not at all. She also dramatically broke down, during one of the performances on the night that Julie died. Why would she have done that? She wouldn't have known.
Yeah.
She wouldn't have known. And then there's another little chilling detail. Rachel had messaged Julie on social media right around the time when she was being killed.
Wow.
Despite later telling the police that she had been sleeping.
What did the message say?
Don't know.
Okay.
And then there was the news. Then there was the time when she was in the interrogation room, like I said earlier, where it was like, I shot her twice in the back of the head and I dismembered. And then like, there's no reaction. There's just no reaction.
Yeah.
So is there anything that he can say? She says this. Is there anything that he can say that can make this better? And the police are like, yeah, he can start telling the truth. Tell us what to say to get out of this, is basically what she said.
Yeah.
What can we say to make you believe that we had nothing to do with this?
They have a wedding ticket too? Jeez.
That's it. She said, in her interview with Dateline, which was in
serious?
20... So there's 2 episodes of this story. 2010? No, I think one was 2015 or 2014. And then she was interviewed and she was like, I just knew it was some mistake. And they're like, yeah, was there a point when, did you get to that point where you're like, who was this man I was going to marry? I don't know him at all. What?
Wow.
What? So no is the answer to that question. No, like you didn't ever think, well, who is this person? She was like, well, it was coming from a good place in his heart. Anyway, so authorities charged her at that point. Authorities did charge her with being an accessory to murder after the fact, even though she denied up and down any involvement. She said, I'm innocent. That's what hurts me most in this whole situation. They're trying to say I'm somebody that I'm not. Mm-hmm. But in 2018, a jury disagreed, and she was charged with 3 counts of accessory after the fact. Prosecutors believe that she helped cover up the crimes, and she was found guilty and sentenced to 32 months behind bars.
That's it?
She served 18.
I'm about to leave.
Throw the table. Let's flip this table over. She is though forever linked to this tragedy. Her face is everywhere. I can't imagine she's going to ever live a normal life. I just can't. I don't know where she is now, but that face. You look up her name, Rachel Buffett. Rachel E. Buffett. Get in there. She should have gotten more time, in my humble opinion. What do I know? But maybe
she
that's
should
all.
also be on life sentence.
She should have gotten a life sentence, 100%. So Two innocent lives, Sam Herr and Julie Kaibayushi. Their lives were stolen by fuel. That was fueled by greed for a fancy wedding. And I just, that makes me the angriest. What a racket the whole wedding industry is. But it doesn't need to be that fancy. Just be okay with something simple. Please, please, please. And a once trusted friend orchestrated a brutal double murder, all to fund this wedding. But the two of them both revealed themselves to be just cold-blooded and heartless. And that's it. That's all I've got. That's
I was trying to find where she was now, but it doesn't say anything.
Oh, I'm sure she's maybe changed her name, or, who knows? I don't know if she's able to do that. But seriously, like that 17-year-old and Chris Williams, the jazz musician, had those two not spoken, had they not
I'm really
said,
surprised they left the 17-year-old alive.
I don't understand how they thought that was a good idea. That's just
I don't
really
really thought
dumb.
any of that was a good idea.
I
but
mean,
especially
100%.
the kid.
Like, here, use this card, spend the money because
In the same town, not even a different town. In other news, did you see where the wife of Ghost Adventure star Aaron Goodwin got arrested because she hired a hitman to kill him? Just thought I would change up.
Aaron?
Yeah, his wife
His
was arrested.
New wife, Ashley. New wife.
She was arrested last week and booked on 2 charges: solicitation to commit murder and conspiracy to commit murder, after police say she hatched a plan to kill Aaron while he was filming his show with Zach Baggins. When
Ashley.
cops say Victoria was messaging an inmate in a Florida prison about getting out of her marriage to Aaron when she asked, "Am I a bad person because I chose to end his existence, not divorce?" He is
the best part of that show, and I will die on that hill.
She provided info about his location and filming times in California, where he was filming Ghost Adventures. Cops say his wife set aside $11,515 to pay this alleged hitman, and they say the inmate she was communicating with messaged a guy about the alleged plot. "He's asleep right now in the hotel room. I need to know what's going on. Can I get an update? Was it done?" Anyways, this happened back like in October. Aaron's obviously still very much alive, but yeah, she gave very specific details, hired this man, was going to pay him, paid a $2,500 retainer. Obviously, the hitman was an undercover of sorts. It says the plot came out after correction officers found and seized the inmate's contraband phone. So that's how they found out about the... Anyways.
My heart hurts for Aaron.
Yeah. It says that she denied wanting Aaron to be killed and says she was daydreaming or fantasizing about being without her husband. Cops say she also told him she didn't remember sending the messages and doesn't really want him dead. Anyways, there's a whole article in TMZ if anyone wants to read it, but yeah, it just came out. I just thought that was wild because we talk about them quite a bit in our episodes and stuff. So.
And he's still wearing a wedding ring. 7 weeks ago when he posted a photo of him petting his cat. Let's see. My Valentine always beats me at mini golf 3 weeks ago.
Well, the story just came out today. So
I'm
I don't
just
know when
saying, this is like Valentine's Day.
She was arrested last week. So. Crazy.
My heart is broken for him. He does not deserve that. That's terrible. Oh my gosh. And if you haven't had a chance, y'all should watch the Gabby Gifford's, the new documentary that came out on Netflix. They make the point that she got a lot of attention, media attention, and so that's definitely covered in the show. When there are BIPOC people who go missing, but they don't get any, they don't even get a fraction of that amount of media attention. But if we want people to see the red flags of domestic violence, there's no better lesson than this relationship.
Yeah.
He did everything that we say abusers do, but these are the things that people don't take seriously enough.
Yeah. Especially as I saw some people talking about how the cops didn't take her seriously. Like, they removed him and put him in a hotel.
She was the assaulter.
Yeah. Even though there were witnesses not associated, like third-party witnesses saying he was beating her.
Her face was the one bloody, not his.
Yeah.
And he was like, she's crazy, but I love her. Oh. But all of the things leading up to their trek across the country, everybody, one after the other, were like, he seemed nice, but weird. There was something off about him.
Yeah.
There was just off. He was off. And I think we don't take that feeling seriously enough.
Yeah.
And then the isolation, he quickly isolated her, moved her to Florida.
Yeah.
Just quickly, how quickly everything moved. It is a master class of what to look for. And I was just like, wow.
Is it on Netflix?
It's on Netflix. I want everybody to watch it because I think everybody needs to see what that looks like because it looked so normal. I'm doing that in quotes, right? They looked so normal. But her friend was like, I would have to console her because she would say, I don't deserve him. I'm such a bad person. She would cry and like, look, he doesn't want me to go out with my friends, but I'm going out anyway. Like the just those manipulative little things that like, what are you doing? Where are you going? Who are you talking to? Why aren't, no, I'm just here crying by myself and I'm just missing you. And okay, honey, I'll be home really soon. Just how much she had to protect him and, just how, and then that would make her feel worthless because he was so nice and he just loved me so much and I'm hurting him all the time. I don't deserve him. And she was just this beautiful, bright, sunny person. And then that just, but it is, and yes, there are other people who go missing. There are other people who this happens to that don't get the media attention. But if we can learn something, we should learn.
Yeah.
We should learn it. We should take that lesson. It's there for us. We don't have the video and audio of everybody else. We do have it of this. And if this helps one person, if this saves one person's life, then fuck yeah.
Yeah.
One person is going to see themselves in that and go, oh, my boyfriend does that. Oh, that's not
Or
good.
my girlfriend.
Or my girlfriend. Like, oh, that's not the right way to go. That's not healthy. No, that's not healthy.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it. Let's have those conversations. So yeah, man. I can't believe Aaron. Oh my gosh.
I know. I'm sorry.
That blows my mind. Anyway, okay, so we'll see you next week.
I don't know what I'm doing next week, but it won't be as depressing as Cats, I'm sure.
Oh my God. I tried to do something lighthearted. No, I'm just kidding. There's nothing ever lighthearted.
I don't know. I will try to do something not as messed up as Cat.
I mean, we need to do like dumbest crooks
It'll
ever.
actually be St. Patrick's Day next Monday, so.
Oh yeah.
So we'll see.
Maybe an Irish story. Oh, look at the Irish.
Maybe. We'll see what happens. Anyways.
All right, everybody. We'll see you next week. Until then, if you see something, say something. And please be kind to one another. We all need that extra kindness right now. All right. See you next week. Bye.